On the forms you filled out, some of you expressed that you would like ideas about how to relate to women from other ethnic backgrounds. I would suggest that you do some Christian mentoring, as it's spelled out in this book. Someone to Walk With. This book was written by Darcy Poppy. Darcy is a young woman who is the director of the Women's Leadership Institute at Concordia University, Wisconsin, and she works in campus ministry at the university. Darcy points out that the church cannot expect that the lost will come to our doorstep. There are too many other options. We must go to them. But what can we offer? Well, the church offers love and meaningful connection, which is something that we all want. Darcy points out in her book, which by the way is available through Concordia Publishing House, that previously when we talked about mentoring, the understanding was that there was an experienced person, an expert, who took an inexperienced person and sort of poured all of her knowledge and know-how into the new person so that she could do things exactly the way that the experienced person had done them. However, Darcy says that this is not how mentoring works today. In her book, mentoring and connectedness are almost used interchangeably because connectedness leads us to awareness, and awareness can lead us to action, meaningful action. Today we recognize that mentoring is provided by both parties in the relationship. Each individual has unique talents and perspectives that can help to inform the other's opportunities and challenges. People need opportunities to contribute as well as to learn. If we want our connections with people to go beyond a casual greeting of good morning or how are you, we have to put in the time it takes for those connections to form. Connections that are established in intentional mentoring lead to opportunities to express needs. When we understand those needs, church members and others can work together to serve one another and meet those needs. When my husband and I went to Guatemala as missionaries, everything was new to us. We studied Spanish in Mexico for 5 months prior to arriving in our port town of Puerto Barrios. Our next door neighbor was a teacher who befriended us and helped us immensely. She knew I was a teacher, and one day she asked me if I would be willing to judge a poetry contest for some grade school children. I told her that my Spanish was still very limited. Sometimes we say Tarzan Spanish, but she assured me there would be other people with expertise and experience on the committee, so it would be an easy task. So I consented to do it. The actual judging wasn't hard because I simply listened to the other judges, and when I heard their consensus on winners, I simply but honestly agreed with them. However, then came the presentation of the trophies to the top 3 winners. The judges asked me to present the one for first place. I was honored and I agreed to do it, knowing that in our culture, you usually present 3rd place, then the 2nd place, and finally the 1st place prizes. I figured I could see what the others said and sort of model what I would say when I presented the trophy on those who went before me. To my surprise, however, their custom was to present the 1st place trophy first. So, having never seen how they do it in Guatemala, I basically said in my not so very good Spanish that all of the children had done an excellent job, and the winner was this girl, and I called her by name. She came and got the trophy and sat down. Then it became time for the presentation of the second place trophy. A teacher stood up and began speaking. Honored representatives of the city, distinguished members of the school board, dedicated teachers, proud parents, and distinguished guests. It has been my great honor today to listen to this beautiful presentation. You get the idea. The presenter for the third place trophy basically did the same thing. You see, I could have learned a lot had I known more about their practices and expectations. I was embarrassed and felt especially bad for the first place winner because I felt that she got much less attention than what she deserved. Thankfully for me, the people who were there seemed to understand that I did not intentionally do a poor job of presenting the trophy. I just didn't know any better. There are a couple of reasons I'm telling you that story. First, it illustrates that we all can learn if we take the time and ask questions. I had only been in Guatemala a few weeks when this occurred. I had not had the time to learn properly what to do. If I had asked my neighbor before the contest what would she typically say to a winner, I probably would have been able to prepare a better speech. On the other hand, my neighbor assumed that since I was a teacher, I would know how to do this task that was routine for teachers in Guatemala. But I didn't. When we're working cross-culturally, we need to be aware not to assume that all women will know our expectations. For you district presidents, I served as president of the English District LWML from 1994 to 98. Let me assure you that our LWML has a culture all its own. When we're going to have a board meeting, we typically set a deadline a week or two before, when each woman who holds an office or position is expected to send in her report, so that it can be copied or emailed to all of the women on the board. Now, these reports have a format, and we expect that everyone who is elected or appointed to the board somehow knows what that format is. I'm telling you from experience that this knowledge is not inborn. So think about how you can help not only heart-to-heart district leaders, but new leaders in general with your district's reporting system. In some cases, you may need to help this new leader yourself or ask another person to be a writing mentor for her. With experience in mentoring, I'm confident that your new heart-to-heart leader and your other new leaders will learn what you expect them to do for your board meeting and other gatherings that you ask them to participate in. As a part of our LWML culture, each person on the board is expected to be present at all of the board meetings. Depending on your district, your meeting may be held at a church nearby, or it may be 5 hours away. I want to caution you that our heart-to-heart district leaders may not always be able to be there. She may have to work that day. She may be able to drive to the meeting, but she may not. Her family may only have one car, and her husband may need to use it to get to work. And when he comes home from work, he may expect that she is there and has dinner waiting for him. In today's world, some meetings may need to be held online. It will be necessary to see the capabilities your new leader has to do that. You may need to help facilitate her participation, or to ask another woman to help. In many cultures, there is no such thing as babysitting. If you have children, you take care of them yourself. If you need to be somewhere, you take the kids along with you. So whether you are the district president or the district heart-to-heart leader, I encourage you not to assume that everyone knows how to do things the LWML way. If you want your district heart-to-heart leader at the meeting, you may need to arrange for transportation for her. Heart-to-heart district leaders, the same is true for when you work with your committee members in your district or your heart-to-heart groups. They may have some of the same limitations. Now, I'm not saying this is true of all of our heart-to-heart district leaders or that all of your heart-to-heart committee members will have these limitations. The way you will know whether she does or not is by spending time necessary to find out. Connectedness. That's what will help all of us work together efficiently and effectively. Also, a welcoming spirit and willingness to listen and encourage are important qualities all of us can practice as we walk together on this path of heart-to-heart sisters. Mentoring in the church in the 21st century is less about following a specific plan and more about walking with a person and navigating life together as it comes. I think if you, as heart-to-heart district leaders and district presidents, can see your journey together in this way, you're going to be in for a wonderful ride. And always remember that your Lord is walking with you and will carry you when the road is uncertain. In her book, Darcy explains that an environment that fosters healthy mentoring relationships generally has these qualities, and there are 6 of them. Number 1, it involves creating a community that listens. Do you listen with the intent to understand, or while the person is speaking, are you already composing your response in your head with the intent to speak when it's your turn? When we truly listen, we mean that we do not defend or argue our point, but we try to see the point from the other person's perspective. We try to comprehend his or her intended meaning and explain our points of view in a respectful and caring manner. Number 2, people connect deeply. It involves letting down your guard and feeling safe enough to be honest with another person. When you arrive at that point, you are not afraid to share your failures as well as your successes. Number 3, people forgive and are forgiven. Life can get messy sometimes, and we need to be understanding and generous in forgiving when there is a misunderstanding or a hurt. Also, we may have to be the one to ask for forgiveness first. Number 4, it is a place where people are committed to one another. We truly care about each other and support each other in any way we can. Number 5, people tell their stories and they share Christ's story. We need to tell our stories of when God met us in a time of need and how He has seen us through times of difficulty. And finally, number 6, people pursue the disconnected. As I'm sure you know, in most of our ethnic congregations, the members are not connected to the church at large. That's why Heart-to-Heart Sisters is such a special program, because we have the opportunity to enable ethnic women to learn about the bigger picture, but we also have a chance to learn from them and understand alternative ways to do ministry. And that truly is a blessing.